Really, I mean, you got to be honest with you. I mean, 16 years, 8 different stops, and just about every single one of them has been very, very interesting. One of the most respected guys in the league, in all sincerity. We're talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitz, Tiki and Tierney, how you doing today, man?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. I mean, we all know, where you've been. We all know the Fitz magic that you brought to just about every stop. Before we even get into anything, I'm curious. What has been your favorite stop so far? Where have you had the most fun playing football?
Oh, we're starting with the hard-hitting questions, huh?
That's the easy one, man.
I think the harder question is where did you not have a child at? I remember talking to you a couple of years ago at the Bucs game, and it was like you had a kid at every stop.
We've had seven different cities. We've had 7 kids. But,
that's awesome, man. That's so awesome.
You know what? It's been a great run for me, and I've really enjoyed everywhere I've been. I think. The fans in Buffalo are probably second to none just in terms of the passion. And, you've seen it the last few years with, whether it was donating to Andy Dalton or, Lamar after he got hurt in the playoffs, what they did for Josh Allen. It's just a pretty, special place in that regard. But I've had great experiences everywhere I've been. And the last 2 years in Miami have been phenomenal for me as well.
Fitz, it's interesting when you think about the stops that you've had, and obviously we remember the years in Tampa Bay where Jameis was suspended, and you came out and you played fantastic those for a few games, and then in Miami you served this like specific role. I wonder, like, what's the conversation like when a team reaches out to you in the off season and says, "Hey, Ryan, we need you." Like, what's that conversation like?
Hey, sometimes every year takes on a different life of its own. But sometimes that conversation is, hey, we need a bridge. We need a guy to come in and to provide leadership. A guy to come in and keep us afloat and right the ship and send us in the right direction. And that's a role that I really have embraced the last few years. And, I take a lot of pride in what's going down in Miami right now in the last 2 years, just, from 2019 and the 0-7 start and people talking about it being the worst team in the history of the NFL and, finishing that year 5-4 and springboarding into this year in a 10-6 season. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that, I really enjoy being a part of, and I enjoy seeing franchises, but really seeing individuals gain confidence and, guys grow and play better.
Yeah, no, and we saw that, and we saw it with Tua. Obviously, we saw them at the start of the season. When that decision was made and Tua became the starter, I didn't get the sense that you were – obviously you were disappointed because you want to play, just like anybody who played the game. You want to be out on the field, and it sucks to see someone else doing your job. But how did you take that? Was it foregone? Did you understand it? What was your emotion when the decision to start Tua over you was made by Brian Flores and the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah, I knew, and I said it early on, before the season started. I knew I was a placeholder when they drafted Tua, and when you draft a guy in the top 10, you're kind of on borrowed time, just waiting for them to insert him in the lineup. And so, I knew that was the reality of the situation. Just didn't make it any easier, that when I was out there playing, and then they decided, that it was the right time to put him in. But, in making that decision, I wasn't, happy with it. But as a professional, I also still had a job to do. And as a leader and a captain on that team, I had a job to do, which was, okay, now my role has shifted, and how do I put us in the best position to win? And it wasn't necessarily from me being out there playing anymore. It was from me helping him as much as I could. And, that was just the role that they gave me, and it just so happened that it, switched throughout the year. But, that's something that I've tried to embrace as a teammate over the years.
And you handled it probably better than I would have handled it, to be totally honest with you, Ryan. It was amazing how you handled that. Of course you were disappointed. You told us that just now. We even got intimations of that in real time. And listen, you were playing pretty well, and you guys had a winning record. They took the ball out of your hands. I would have been a little hot. But that's why you've been around as long as you've been around. That's why you've been as coveted as you've been coveted, because of how you comport yourself, what you bring to the quarterback room, what you bring to the huddle when you're on the field. I mean, having said that, here we are, 16 years. You're a free agent now. Is Miami still on the radar, or do you think it's not only best for Tua, but best for you, more importantly, to maybe move on and find a different squad?
Well, I mean, this business is crazy every year, and the quarterback landscape right now. There's a lot of jobs out there. There's going to be a lot of movement. We've already kind of seen with Stafford and Goff. This is setting up to be an off-season kind of like none other, at least for the quarterback landscape. And so, for me, I just every year I try to reevaluate, and I still really enjoy playing the game. I love being out there on the field playing, and so I'll wait till March and kind of evaluate to see what's out there. But I still want to play. I still love playing the game, and it was these last few years have been very professionally have been really rewarding for me.
Yeah. Do you move your family with you with each stop, Ryan? Every
year, but the last two we have, and the thought being, Miami and Tampa are pretty close, so I just kind of went back and forth. But it definitely the COVID made things very difficult with the travel and having to test in Miami every day. It was, personally, it was a very tough year, for a lot of people around the country, obviously, but for me and having to go back and forth and not being able to see my family as much as I normally would.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
Here's what I've watched. First of all, I'm a Jets fan, so I've seen you for a couple of years up close, and it's amazing watching you, dude. And I say this, I've written this on Twitter. Like, here's what I don't understand. This is a respect thing by far. This is definitely not a knock. What I really want to know, like, here you are. You're not a young kid, right? You've got 16 years. You've made a lot of money, and you need it because you're going to have a ton of 529 funds that I'm sure I'm already supplying. We know how it works, man. We both have kids. And then I watch you play, Ryan, and for a guy who went to Harvard, you still you throw your head face first. You dive. You no regard for your neck, no regard for your brain. Like that's coming from a place of respect, but it's also coming from a place of almost like I almost worry for you. What is the driving force to still play that recklessly when financially you don't have to?
Yeah, I mean, I love the game of football. I love everything that it entails. I love the team aspect of it, but I play the game a particular way. I mean, that's how I play, and that's how I played ever since I turned 10 and put pads on for the first time. So I'm not going to change that now. But part of it is it's just so ingrained in me. But that's a lot of the reason why I am where I'm at right now is because I play the game that way and go out there and try to give my team the best chance they can to win the game, and hopefully that passion and enthusiasm rubs off on my teammates.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified when we drop fresh content.